students, so this is Aishwarya from Question Club. So we're going to see medical termination of pregnancy. So what is the term medical termination of pregnancy? It is nothing but we are going to voluntarily abort the child. So intentional or voluntary termination of pregnancy before the full term, that is called as your medical termination of pregnancy or your induced abortion. So just make sure that there are nearly 40 to 50 million of MTPs that are happening all over the year in the world. So in that, almost 1/5 of the total number of conceiving pregnancies, we are going for your medical termination of pregnancy or they are going for your abortion. So do medical termination of pregnancy or induced abortion is legalized in India? So Government of India that has been legalized the medical termination of pregnancy in 1971. Why so? Because of certain condition but with strict condition in order to avoid certain misuse. So such restrictions are all more important to check the indiscrimination. Why the major restriction? It is because of if they are able to find out what is the fetus that is present inside the female body, those Indian culture, they tend to kill the female feticide. So in order to ban against those female feticide, so this MTP has been legalized with certain restrictions in India. So why MTP? So do medical termination of pregnancy is necessary? Yes, it is necessary because of certain unwanted conditions of pregnancies. So it could be either due to unintentional intercourses or it could in order to provide or protect the mother from various conditions. So MTPs are also essential in certain cases where continuation of the pregnancy that could be harmful or the fatal for the parent body. When can be the MTPs can happen? Do they happen in any trimester? No. So the trimester or the pregnancy period, it has been divided into 3. So one is your first trimester, the first 3 months, the 4th, 5th, 6th trimester will be your second trimester and the last 3 months will be considered as your third trimester. So your medical termination pregnancy or induced abortion can happen within the first 3 months, that is your first 12 weeks or your first trimester. So that will be considered as to be the safe. Why it is? Because in the second trimester, your organs will start to develop. So it will be quite harmful for the mother. So third trimester, it cannot able to abort the child because as the fetus has completely developed with all your well-developed organs, so it will be most harmful for your mother. So second trimester abortion are much more riskier. So another dangerous trend is the misuse of aminosynthesis. So what is the term aminosynthesis? So aminosynthesis is a condition in which they'll take out the amniotic fluid from the parent body mother and they'll test it in order to find what type of chromosome it is present inside the mother. So to find out what child they have, boy or the girl. So in the presence of the female child, so they tend to kill or they abort the child. So in order to reduce the misuse of aminosynthesis, medical term pregnancy has been stimulated. So we're going to see the most important one, that is your sexually transmitted infection. So what is a sexually transmitted infection? So disease or infection which are transmitted through your sexual intercourse are called as your sexually transmitted diseases or venereal diseases or your reproductive tract infections. So these are the most important one. So what are the types or what are the disease that comes under STI, that is your sexually transmitted infection or disease, or your HIV, HSV, chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, mycoplasma, HPV, and there are much more diseases that comes under this categories. So among these, all your sexually transmitted infections, your HIV and hepatitis B tend to be the most dangerous one. Why it is? Because apart from these two and all other diseases are curable, where you cannot find curable, only prevention are available for your HIV and your hepatitis B. Transmission of sexually transmitted infection. So how these infection is transmitted from one individual to the another individual. So it happens by means of your unprotected sexual intercourses, vertical transmission, that is from the mother to the infant through breast milk or through the pregnancies, or injection or drug use or through a blood transfusion. So some of these infections such as your hepatitis B and HIV infection can also be transmitted by injection needles, surgical instruments. This could be transmitted from infected person to the non-infected person by means of the blood. So what are the risk factors of sexually transmitted diseases? Increased numbers of sexual partners, inconsistent condom use, breaks in the skin, severity of your partner's infection. So these all constitute to your increased risk factors of sexually transmitted diseases. So what are your symptoms? So both women and men face your certain discharge from your penis or the vagina. So burning or painful urination will be present, and bleeding between your periods in female and testicular swelling in male. So early symptoms of most of these are minor and that could able to include your itching, fluid discharge and slight pain and swelling. So most of the cases in females, it will be of asymptomatic. They don't find any symptoms until the disease reaches your final stage. So what are the complications if they are untreated? So the complications of STD if they are untreated or leads to your pelvic inflammatory diseases, and it could lead to abortion and stillbirth. So what does the term stillbirth mean? Where your infant is born dead. Ectopic pregnancies where the fertilization happens away from your uterus. So it could mostly take place in your fallopian tube. And infertility or even cancer it can lead to. So what are the elements of your sexually transmitted diseases prevention? So it could be your first one, education, counseling, contraceptive choices and condom use. So most incidence age group, if you tend to find, it is between your 15 to 24 years of the group where they are sexually active. So prevention, so avoid sex with unknown partners. So always use condom before your sexual intercourse. In case of doubt, one should get diagnosed with the diseases. So hope you are clear with the topic what we have discussed today. So stay tuned, connect with us for more videos. Thank you.